right, got my brother Sebastian Hudson from St. Louis.
St. Louis, yep.
TacFitter. I've been seeing you around for I don't know how many years have you been in TacFit?
Well, I've been like an unofficial TACFitter since 2011, so we're almost at that 10-year mark here at the end of this year. Officially certified since 2015, so almost it'll be 6 years in September.
How did you find TacFit?
Oh, well, I started kind of getting into exercise, when I was 15, and then we were at a gym. This is when I was 18, and there's just two guys swinging kettlebells really fast, two Filipino guys. I'm like, man, what are they doing? And they had clubs. I'm like, this is interesting. So I had to introduce myself and I see what they're doing, and they started talking about RMAX and TacFit, and I was like, oh man, show me what this is about. And then we went through a lot of stuff, and then I kind of started falling in love with the system after that.
Awesome. You have some club bells, I think. Are there some club bells in the background?
Yeah.
Hey.
Unfortunately, the collection, there's a lot more downstairs, but yeah.
Nice. Man, I've been like a fan of yours. I've been like watching you on social media and stuff, and I'm like really like just your humility and your vulnerability. Like you share, because like I think you're blind in one eye. Is that correct?
Yeah, the left one here is a prosthetic. Yeah, it's a glass eye.
Glass eye. So you got a glass eye. So
right.
Were you born like that?
No. So I was as a baby, I was about 9 months old. So my mom noticed when she was taking pictures of me, the left eye was gray for whatever reason.
Gray?
Yeah, it was gray. Like the iris was gray.
Wow.
That was weird. Took that to the doctor. He said, no, it's no problem. It's just probably just something weird. And then a couple months later, I guess I pulled a curling iron on my arm I was 10 months old at the time, hurting myself pretty good. So they took me to the hospital. That doctor noticed something was off, and they started doing some tests, and they noticed I had a tumor the size of the eye socket in that left eye. Actually, I had tumors in both eyes, but the one in the left eye was so large, there was nothing they could do. So they had to immediately do surgery, and they found out obviously that I had cancer. So they had to remove that.
You had cancer as a baby?
Yeah, 10 months old is that's when they found it. Yeah, at 10 months.
Wow.
Yeah. So they removed the left eye. Thankfully, that was fine. Surgery went good. But after that, for about 4 years, like I said, I still had cancer in the right eye. So tumors kept popping up. So they kept doing cryotherapy where they would freeze the tumors. I just kept doing that for a few years until eventually they stopped coming, thankfully, and they saved my right eye.
Wow. And so they had to take out basically your eye and whatever was in the area to get rid of the tumor.
Yeah, the full eye socket, and then they put in a tissue implant, basically, like a muscular tissue, connect a few things in there, and then you get the like kind of semicircle prosthetic that lays on top.
Wow, man, crazy. My grandfather's blind. He used to open up his eye socket, and scare us as kids because they took his eyeballs out.
Oh wow. Yeah, I've never seen quite that, but I did used to do something similar. I would take my prosthetic out. It's just like a red implant back there, and I remember chasing a few people because it'd freak them out. You got to play with it sometimes, have fun with it.
What kind of problems did it create for you? Like how you felt, and as a kid, with that kind of and what kind of things happened because of that situation?
Right. Yeah. Well, for me, it happened when I was just not even a year old. So for me, that's all I ever knew. So at first it didn't really bother me. I just had one eye, and that's just kind of what it was. Some kids would kind of poke fun because obviously it doesn't look the same on both sides entirely. It didn't really bother me. I just kind of went with it. You kind of made jokes back. But physically, it definitely made some issues because with the one eye, you lose a lot of depth perception. So I was very unbalanced and clumsy. When I was a baby, apparently I used to run into walls just because I didn't realize they were that close.
Wow.
And then I was terrible at sports for most of my life. I was fast. I was a skinny, fast kid. And so if I did something, I was always like the runner, basically, because I could never really catch a ball. Throwing, I was usually just off a little bit. And then it caused more issues because, as a kid, I still was getting sick because after all the surgeries, it kind of left me a little, I don't know, a little weak maybe from all that. So I had spinal meningitis a couple times from it because I guess infection got in there and then went back and made me really sick that way. And it's caused a lot of health problems, I suppose. And I kind of just accepted it for what it was up to a point.
And yeah, you said you couldn't play. You couldn't hard to catch
Mhm.
catch weekend balls, and no ball sports for you.
No, man, I was terrible. That
Yeah.
was frustrating because I liked them, but at the time, I just yeah, for me it was just so challenging, and I couldn't really figure out how to get overcome it when I was a kid.
Mm.
Mhm.
And so, what? When? How old are you when you started? When you found Armax and Scott's work.
I was 18, almost 19. Yeah, so I was just fresh out of high school. You know, it was that
Okay.
summer after. That's when I ran into those two, and yeah, it was so exciting. Like, I mean, I loved what they were doing, and I was already working out for about 2.5, 3 years at that point, and working out made a big difference in my life. Kind of, it's just I noticed I was getting a little better. I wasn't getting sick as much. I was sick all the time as a kid. I wasn't getting sick as
Mm.
much. I was getting a little more balanced. Was starting to get better at a few sports. Not great, but yeah, I found the TACFIT, and man, that just really started kind of changing the game for me. After training for a few years, it was a lot of fun. I know after we started doing it, like I never knew what mobility was. I was like, "What's that?" I was like, "You mean push-ups or something?" Like, I was like, "What do you mean?" And yeah, so we learned all the mobility from Scott's work. We were doing like old school, into flow, and then when we were exercising, we were doing like King of Clubs back then, the kettlebell spetnaz, the ABCs from really old school RMAX book. And
Mm.
after doing all that for a while, things really started changing for me. All of a sudden, like I didn't practice the sports anymore, but all of a sudden, like I would go, play with friends or whatever. I was just better. I was like, what's this? Like, how am I doing this now? Why am I catching things way easier? How am I like, dipping and moving through things way easier than I used to? So that really started kind of lighting the fire of interest. Like, okay, something's going on here.
Mm. So you started feeling your depth perception, like all your proprioception got better, right?
Appropriate, yeah, big time. Yeah, yeah, I just could like just I felt like I understood more where I was, not as much maybe through the vision, but just kind of more of a sensation. Yeah, the proprioception, being able to sense better where I was, and I personally fully like commit that to like what I was doing with the TACFIT because it really teaches you to get way more in touch with yourself and your body. And you kind of start the breathing drills too. You get just such a deeper understanding of you, like how the physicality of what you're doing. And I think that's really played a huge part of like improving and all those things and being more connected with my own self.
Hmm. And so because of that, what are some of the things that you've been able to do that you weren't able to do? So you mentioned, playing some sports and being more coordinated and things like that. What are some other things that you attribute like being better at because of it?
Yeah. Yeah, there's the sports, just different things. I was able to, like I said, catch balls way easier. I was able to throw, well, of course, further because I was getting stronger, but more accurately. Balance was a big one. I remember I started like after doing all that, I was really into balance because, like I said, I was a super unbalanced kid. So, walking on rails all of a sudden got like pretty easy for me. Running through trails was kind of hard before too because I was like would miss things I thought were there. Like I thought I was leaping over something, but I would trip a lot easier. That
Hmm.
wasn't happening at all anymore. I was able to kind of get over things, move quickly, and it was very exciting. So that was one of the few things that was definitely improving from that. And there's really a lot of things, honestly. Pretty much, it kind of affected everything I was doing because little things get a little more difficult when your depth perception's gone. Like I said, running into things when you didn't realize, bumping into someone. That was a big one. Like I was a big concert goer, and I was bumping into people on accident, sometimes on purpose, but most of, most of the time on accident. But it started happening way less. Like I was like, oh, it's like kind of more like naturally almost dodge or kind of just let it pass by a lot easier. That stuff was just starting to happen, and it was yeah, it was very cool to me.
I don't know if I was diagnosed with the multiple sclerosis, right? And so I had a lot of things happen, like my balance and just I had just my coordination is kind of weird, right? Just kind of lost like some abilities and even to like read and comprehend. I felt like I couldn't read and comprehend when I was reading and just connecting my breath with the movement, doing the tac fit. It really like made me not just brought it back, but I feel like it's made me smarter later in my life. Did you find the same thing?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that connection between the movement and breath is a big part of it. But yeah, it was the same thing. I understanding did become easier for me. And I think it's part of that connection, that mind body kind of connection. I think it's all like a or part of a bigger picture. So when you start connecting all those, everything like starts becoming easier. It's not just working out or playing sports or whatever it is. I mean, like reading are listening, you start kind of retaining information better. And
Yeah.
I definitely noticed all that as well, because I was going deep into, studying, like the fascia and everything. And
Right.
at first, like trying to read it was very confusing. Like, what is this? Like, what is that? But
Right.
so when you start feeling everything and getting more connected, it's just almost like it just, if you're absorbing it almost a little more naturally, if that kind of makes sense.
It does. For me, it does. Absolutely. Like, I went to the fascia conference in Berlin some years back, just trying
Wow.
to go deeper, right? And all these applied neuroscience courses and everything else. Like, why? Why am I doing that? I couldn't get enough. I was like, how do these things connect, right? With doing TACFIT and movement and breath and
Yeah.
structure, right?
Right.
So yeah, I totally get it. It's crazy. So you're from St. Louis. You were born and raised there?
No, not at all. Oh man, we've been around. I was born in Dayton, Ohio as a
Mm,
kid. We moved to St. Louis shortly after. I think maybe it was two. I'm not
okay.
entirely sure. We're around there. Lived there till I was 4. Moved to Florida around there till I was about 9. Like in all different cities. Miami was where we finished off at. Moved back to Ohio just for like 6, no, maybe 5 months, and then back to St. Louis, then to Illinois, and back to St. Louis. And now here I am.
What did your parents do? Or what did your mom and dad?
Yeah, so it was just me and my mom, and
Okay.
honestly, man, I think she just had kind of like a gypsy soul. Like she could never really stay at one place for very long, and that really bothered me as a kid. Like, 'cause I remember 4th grade, I went to 3 different schools in 3 different states in one school year, so it was like you're
Wow.
never really staying in one place for very long. So making friends and all that is tough because you're constantly leaving and all that. Now we didn't have social media and all that when I was a kid, so it was a lot different. But eventually we stuck around in St. Louis by the time I was like 14, 15. So I got to go through all high school in the same place. So that was cool. And that's where we kind of planted our feet.
Nice. Nice. You
Mhm.
traveled around, you got a bunch of different cities. That's tough, right? When you're a kid to do that.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough. It's cool. You get to see a lot of things. And I mean, it was definitely tough at the time, like aggravating, like, man, I just want to stay somewhere, always having to pick everything up and go. But looking back, I think it was good because you get to meet a lot of different kind of people, get way more kind of experiences because you're not just in
Mm,
one place. So I contribute a lot of that to the way I think and the way I act. I think it actually did a lot of good looking back.
yeah. Makes you appreciate the community, right? Having your community. Like you have a gym now, right? Yeah, you're
I did. I don't no longer at a gym right now. I'm,
uh,
I'm just like a freelance right now. I
oh,
mostly do.
because of COVID, everything closed down.
Yeah, yeah. Everything
Mhm.
kind of closed down there, and I started kind of branching out on my own with clients and just either Zoom house calls at the
Yeah,
park, things like that,
yeah.
which I love the park. That's been nice actually.
Mm. You have your family, right? You have how many kids?
We got one 2.5-year-old little boy. He's crazy, and we got a little girl coming in July. So
Amazing,
growing family.
amazing.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I've been following you on social media. I was like, Sebastian, let me give you a call and get to know you a little bit better and share your
Right.
story. Just because it's so powerful. Like having like the just your eye, you sharing your story about your eye, and then
Mhm.
just how it changed everything for you. I can relate to it so much. Because it gave me a lot of my abilities back, but even made them better.
Right.
And it's kind of just you think like, oh, the training fitness or whatever, or doing connecting your breath with the movement, how precise the TacFit whatever it does, and how how it just connects things that you don't even are aware of, right?
Right.
um yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah. And the reason I kind of put it all out there, it was actually I was really digging the Scott's work back then, man. I was I was a little obsessed back then. Just like trying to find all the information. I have so many videos and old school stuff, but I ended up finding a video on YouTube. I think he was giving some kind of lecture or something at a university, probably there in Bellingham, I'm assuming. But he talked about that, like being vulnerable, putting yourself out there, and just
Mm,
kind of being yourself and letting people know that. And people don't want to be in it. Hey, that's all there is to it, right? It's
mm,
not worth your time. But the people who you're really there to help or help you or are going to be a part of your personal community, like those are the people when they see that they're going to reach out. They're going to want to be a part of it. And those are the kind of people you want. And so that's what's like, all right, let's do it then. Let's put it out there.
yeah, yeah, I
Yeah.
appreciate that. It's inspiring, and I think
Mhm.
inspiring to a lot of people, just just what the system can do for you, you know, like some people are hopeless, and gives them hope, and inspires them, right? That they can be better, even if they are good, right? They can be better.
Yeah. Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. I mean, sometimes that's how I was, I didn't think like, oh, hey, that's just the way it is, I got to deal with it. And then just stumbling across something and like one thing at a time starts clicking and sparking head. I'm like, wait a second, let's wait, maybe something can be a little different, and it's amazing when you find those things because it really does like absolutely change your life more just the physical and all that. I mean, it's kind of changes the direction you start moving and the way you start thinking. And that's what's most powerful to me about it. It's personally, it really did change my life. Like I've done so much because of it, and it's very exciting.
Yeah. And I look forward to you becoming a senior instructor, getting that TACFIT level 2.
Yeah,
You're one of my guys, in the US. I'd love to have you be part of the educational team and get in there. You've been
yeah,
around for a long time and very inspiring, for me. I get to spend a little bit of time with you, right? Here in LA when you came for one of the TACFIT certifications, right?
yeah.
And
2018, yeah.
it was probably Bellingham too, right? Did we meet in Bellingham?
Yeah, I think that's the first time I saw you was
Hmm.
2017. It was like the pilgrimage. Man, that was an amazing seminar, by the way. There was like people all over the world from there. That was so exciting. And yeah, that's
Hmm.
where I first. I think that was 2017 in March, I
Hmm.
believe, up there in Bellingham. That was my second or third certification. Yeah, that was fun.
Hmm. And I'm gonna go back a little bit. Where do you
Yeah,
think you'd be without TACFIT? What would you be doing? What would your life be like? When you say
oh man,
that's one stream.
it's hard to say. It's you never really know where you would be. I'd like to think, maybe still doing cool things, but maybe not. I don't know. I
No,
was
I was think of because I'm martial arts and jujitsu, things like that, and like you ask people because I always say like TACFIT is like a martial art, it's like a
yeah,
martial art in a way, and it is a martial art to me. You don't have an opponent, the opponent's yourself, right?
absolutely.
And you always ask people like, what would you have been, where would you be without jujitsu if you hadn't found jujitsu? And there's a lot of stories, like especially guys that come from crazy backgrounds and stuff, like, oh, I would have been in jail or dead, or or just I don't know, just crazy situations. So without TACFIT, you hadn't found TACFIT because you said it's helped you so much and learn and be smarter and just all these things. What do you think? What do you think you wouldn't have if it wasn't for if you hadn't found Scott's work?
I think a big one would be there's a few things really like health is a big one. I was still getting sick for a long time and I started getting better when I just first started exercising, but still sick fairly often, just,
Mm,
colds, flus, whatever
mm,
it was. In fact, a lot of infections, but it just, I think it was actually like, cause the TACFIT can do a lot for the lymphatic system, as you know. So like, I think that sort of training really changed like kind of like my biology and like the way everything was working. So I worried like I could have been kept getting more sick because before TACFIT too, I got toxoplasmosis in my one good eye. So a lot of people actually have that. It's a parasite, but most people it doesn't affect. Well, it of course did affect me and happened to be in my one good eye.
mm,
Um, and so that caused, this was like I said before TACFIT, I lost my vision in my one eye for a while. Like it was like pretty much gone. That was wild, and slowly recovered there, and it was coming back a lot. But then, like I said, we started getting TACFIT, and as I started going over through years, like I said, I started getting sick way less. I mean, I've only now in the past 10 years, I've been sick maybe twice with like just
wow.
cold
Yeah.
since then. And there's a lot that attributes to that, but a huge part of it, like I said, I relate to the breath work is huge. The cleaning like out the lymphatic system through the exercise, mobility, like opening things up that could have been holding out so much stress for so long. So I worry, I don't know, because I was getting sick like really badly. Like, toxo could have killed me, could have made me go totally blind. And it's permanent. It never goes away. Like it's just there and it goes dormant for a while. And, I'm thankful it hasn't came back or anything. But so I think I could have been a lot less healthy and strong. That's 100%. Other than that, when I was a kid too, before kind of that started happening, once I got into high school, was a bit of a partier and all that, and started experimenting with stuff. And exercise totally kind of cut that out. I was like, I need to stay on the train. I want to be strong. I want to like, and especially the certifications. I know every time I got a 3-month prep, I'm like, done. Like, I'm just going to be as healthy as possible. I'm going to try to go out there and kill this. So like that was I think it put me on a really good, productive path. And when you get stronger and you're thinking better and all that, I mean, I think you become a better husband, a better father, and all that. So when you're following those kind of paths, so I'm very thankful that I found everything I did, because, like I said, I think it sets you in the right way. So
Nice. How long have you been coaching for?
I've been coaching for about. I mean, I was trying to coach everyone when I first found TACFIT. You got to do this, man. Try to teach everybody, but it's officially, like I said, about 6 years I've been professionally teaching. Yeah.
What are some, if you don't mind sharing, what are some success stories you've had when in teaching the system?
Yeah, I got to meet a lot of people. My first client was actually found me on the TACFIT website right after finishing the CST seminar, which was such an amazing seminar there in Chicago. He's an older guy. He had a frozen shoulder. Couldn't use it for years, and it was always weak. He said growing up, like, it was always really weak on that side. I think it was his right side. So like, that was fresh out of that seminar. Learned so much, because at that seminar, it was just Scott and 10 of us guys, and it was like such a like intimate like teaching session for 2 days.
Hold on. Yeah. Hold on.
Yeah.
There we go. You're back. So
Yeah, sorry
it was intimate, you said?
Yeah, it was like a really intimate seminar, because it was just 10 of us guys, and just Scott teaching the whole time, like uninterrupted, just direct information. And Scott was getting excited and going down rabbit holes, like, oh, I need to get myself out of here. We got a seminar to do, So that was super cool. But yeah, so it came fresh out of that to teach my client Jim. And yeah, we started going through the mobility. We were doing a little bit of flow fit. We were doing a lot of prasara. And then I think at that time we were also doing I can't remember what it was. It was one of the newer yogas. But anyway, so we were doing that all from Scott's work, and so his shoulder started opening up and moving, and then it got full rotation. He was doing the full like mobility. He was doing, because we did the just the circles, and we go through the planes and then do the clovers and all that through the mobility, and he was able to start doing that, and it got stronger. So that fully opened up after being years of not being able to work right. And then he kind of talked about how it was stronger than like ever before that he could remember. So that was super exciting. And after that, I mean, it was even more sold. If I probably was already totally sold, but after doing it for someone else, it's a different kind of feeling, and appreciation.
Yeah. So that was one. Do you have any other ones that you could share?
Absolutely. Yeah. One of my clients, Ross, we still train all the time. He had really, really bad shoulders. I can't. What was the injury? I think he had torn labrums and a few other things. Like, he couldn't do a push-up, couldn't press a 45-pound bar off his chest, and he had a lot of neck problems. And it was a lot going on. He was training at the YMCA. That's where I was for quite a while. And he went through a trainer, and they were trying to do the bench. He just couldn't do it. So he asked for someone different. And came to me, and I was like, because I started getting known as like the rehab guy, I guess, because like they kept sending people with injuries to me. I was like, that's fine. It's fun trying to figure out what's wrong, and then we fix it. It's exciting. But we started doing a lot of mobility, a lot of into flow. Started playing with flow fits. We started progressing into club bells from there, doing some very light work, which is 5-pound clubs. And then, we started kind of playing around with some knee presses. He was able to do the push-ups. And then through time, after doing all this, he wanted to test like the bench again. I'm not a huge bench press person, but it's still good for what it is. And I was like, yeah, we can try it. And what did he get up at that time? I think he went from not being able to press 145 and not even practicing to being able to press it was 185 for 5 sets after not even practicing at all. So it was a huge difference just from training with clubs and body weight exercise and a little bit of kettlebells, just clearing up and healing the shoulders. And, I've had a lot of shoulders injuries myself too. So that's kind of what I like. I find, I guess, some strengths with teaching.
Nice. And what was the first certification you did?
Like I said, it was Chicago 2015 at Tier 1.
CST or TACFIT?
Oh, it was CST. Yeah, circular strength training. TACFIT was after. I only did the CST at the time. Yeah.
And what did it mean? So it was, back, so people don't know, right? The CST was, you did pretty much flow fit, right? The sequence, and then you had to do the trial by fire, correct?
Exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
now
The
it's
trial
split up
part.
in two
Yeah,
because
this one's been two. You did the flow fit first, and then the trial by fire, and that was intense, of course, as everyone knows, especially when you're there doing it under performance, and Scott is dialing in on you when you're doing it. It always is kind of intense. Yeah, that was such a great seminar. I mean, talk about I could study for a year or two, and you learn a lot. But then, like that seminar, it's like I learned everything I learned, like more in 2 years time trying to practice by myself in those 2 days. I mean, it was incredible. It was fun. I remember we were pulling up to the facility there at Tier One, and we the guy I was with, we saw kind of it was Scott kind of walking into the building, and we're like starstruck, like, oh, there he is, man, there's Scott. And I got to go in there and meet him, and yeah, that was so exciting. I told him too. I remember, I think I don't know, we were finished with the first day, and I was like, yeah, I'm Sebastian. We're kind of talking, and I just want you to know, I was like, I plan on moving up. I was like, I'm not going to stay an instructor for long. I'm gonna become that time. I was coach and head coach. I was like, I'm going to go all the way up. And he's like, oh, all right, sounds good. We'll see you there. And I was like, all right. So that's always been kind of a big goal of mine eventually to, really help the team.
yeah. Did you pass that day, that first
Yeah.
cert?
Past day one, that was really rewarding. I was like super nervous and exhausted, and yeah, he handed me the cert, and yeah, it was one of the few that passed first go. So that was extremely, extremely rewarding.
What did that mean to you?
It meant a lot of hard work. Was worth something. It was a huge accomplishment. I never really, like I said, I didn't do much as a kid. I didn't have too many accomplishments. Never had rewards because I didn't play sports or anything like that, or couldn't at the time. So when I got that, that was like, it was huge. Just like my first, for me, like accomplishment. Like I really did something and that I set forth to do. Um, and it's kind of, I guess, put something in motion, like thinking if you really keep pushing towards something and it means something, you can make it happen. And
You
so yeah,
can
it
be
was.
great. Yeah, because like a lot of crazy athletes, like they crumble, right? If they don't have the technique, if they don't have, it's like it's brains and brawn, right? The the certification. You can be,
Exactly.
Hercules, but you're gonna crumble because of you can't manage the stress and you don't have the technique.
Yeah, no, I've seen a lot of guys that came in there like, oh man, this guy's kill it, and then they don't kill it, because like you said, it takes a lot of mental focus. You gotta plan, know how you're gonna perform, and connect with your breath because that's huge. That I mean, doing flow fit and plus you're working out all day. You're not just doing flow fit and then you go do travel fire. Now we did like 2 workouts the first day, not including the flow fit with Scott, and that was awesome. But so you're just drained. So connecting with your breath and just thinking your way through it, managing it is huge. So I tell everyone you gotta be mentally prepared because that's what we talk about, or we all talk about being more prepared than the challenges you face. You gotta really be ready. So yeah, that was like I said, rewarding and exciting to knock it out.
Yeah. How about the TACFIT certification?
hmm Yeah, TacFit Certification was a different ball game. So that first one was when I first met you there in
Okay.
Bellingham.
Okay. Mhm.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So and there's a lot more to it, right? I mean, as Scott would put it, it's like CST was being handed the scalpel, and then TacFit was learning how to use it really fast.
Mhm.
So you get like a lot more learning there, and like obviously there's way more equipment and the qual. I mean, that's tough, tough, tough test. Everyone who's done the qual can contribute that when you're there doing it under with everyone there. I mean, you got to be ready. But it was great too because, like I said, there's so many people there. We had people from all over the states, Costa Rica, Mexico, I think New Zealand,
Mm.
Spain. There was so many people there, so that was a first for me as well. There was a few different people at the Chicago one, but like I said, it was small, and there was only 10 of us, most of which from the States. I think one guy from Canada.
Mm.
That was the most diversity I've seen in one place, and
Mm.
seeing everyone come together with like all these different cultures, but we all were like connected to the same thing, and we're all so excited and learning with each other. That was a truly enriching experience, something I've never had before. And that took it to like a whole nother level. Like I want to keep going to these kind of things because that's what I was talking about too. Like that how you learn all these things by studying, but when you go to that, it's just so enriching. And I think that just helps you again learn more and just keep getting better because you start feeling what it's like.
Mm.
Yeah, I loved it. That was just a fantastic seminar. Tough, but fantastic.
Was there a point where you're like, I'm not gonna pass, or like when doing one of the certs and one of the certs they've done? Like, do you ever have like, oh, I'm not going to be able to do it?
Yeah, that was definitely on the 2018 one there at Legacy.
Mm.
I was rolling with someone and they cranked my shoulders way too much because I had bad injuries before.
Oh, you did jiu-jitsu at the gym?
A little bit, not much,
Oh,
like, just practicing a little bit
okay,
and
okay,
with a few practitioners, yeah. But we were doing a little bit, and there wasn't someone I really knew,
okay.
and unfortunately, they just took it too far and just totally cranked the shoulder, and so I was hurting bad, both shoulders actually. So I was really nervous. I was like, man, I gotta go, I gotta do this, but I don't know how I'm going to because I was not feeling good.
Mm.
Um, but it's amazing because you go there, you practice these things at home and you learn all from reading the books and watching the videos, but it's different when you have all these people with different experiences and the head coaches and all that and team leaders there teaching you and guiding you is amazing because I went in there like not feeling good. And as you know, there in the 2000s, we worked hard. We had
Yeah,
Galatzi teaching us and all that, and he was tough, big
yeah,
time. Remember we did lunges for like 2 hours or so one day. Just kept going over lunges. I mean,
yeah.
it was rough, but it was amazing because I left. I didn't pass. I don't think anybody did besides like one person, maybe. That was tough. But it was amazing because while I worked harder than I probably did my entire life during that
Mm,
seminar,
mm.
I felt better. Like my injuries weren't hurting me actually. I left and then after the next couple of weeks, I was like, that was weird. I was expecting to get totally destroyed, but instead I felt way better, exhausted, but overall way better and connected and stronger with my joints and everything. So that was again, just every time you go do that, it just drives you deeper into the system. Like, okay,
Yeah,
you need
yeah.
to keep learning because apparently there's more that I think I know, and there's this it's an ever going thing, right? It doesn't stop. Like it's a
Mm.
continuing learning system. That's what I
Keep,
love about it.
keep going down the rabbit hole.
Yeah,
Every year
exactly.
after year, it never stops, right? It's a lifetime of study. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
exactly.
Yeah. The you talk about the cert being tough. Is there anything that you like uh feel like you could have done better, like preparation wise? You gave everything, all the material, all the things that they gave you.
Mhm.
Um, you did everything, to pass, to really get the most out of it.
Yeah. Personally, I mean, there's always just spending more time, focusing, and just really digging in and contacting more people. That's what I wish I would have done back then. I'm more
Mm.
connected with the community now, big time.
Right
Especially
now,
as we
right now, right? We have the so many coaches now, and communities really
right.
growing. Yeah.
And then the system, obviously, the community's been obviously we've gone through a huge resurgence, which has been so exciting, and that's what I love about it. Yeah, so way more connected now, but back then is also I'm a fairly introverted guy, so I didn't want to reach out and be like, hey, hi, can you tell me something? I got a question. So I didn't really do that at all. Besides the people I knew here in St. Louis that also trained, which um, I guess didn't really know the system as well, I guess, as I thought they did at the time. Um, so back then, if I would have reached out to more people, try to connect with them, because I mean, as everyone knows who's in this community, we're all like ready to help, because we're all like connected through the system. So I wish I would have done that because I think it would have took me to a whole nother level
Mm.
um, into the seminar, and that's why I'm definitely not afraid to do it anymore. I'm like, hey man, what's up? What are you doing? Can
Mhm.
you show me this? It's what everyone should be doing. Like, don't be
Mhm.
afraid to connect to someone, reach out, me, whoever, because we're here to help. And having that community not only helps our training and be more prepared for these things, it's also just good for the spirit, right? Like knowing
Right.
you're connected with other people is incredibly rewarding because I never really cared about community or anything. Like I said, I was always moving, so I didn't
Mhm.
have any connection to that. But stepping into like the RMAX at the time, TACFIT community, like as was new, and you realize how important that is. Like you need to be a part of community. It's like we're made for that.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, like the we're trying to get better at the supporting, and
Mhm.
like Nestor has always done the academy, like a prep course
Yeah,
for the certs. So
yeah,
that's one of the things that we were trying to give, but we live in the US, so it's like everybody's spread out. Like in a country like Spain, it's just smaller, right? People can drive and it's a lot easier. So we're
right.
trying to figure out the ways to support and to create that academy. And now we've done that. We have that with the online, right? With that
Yeah,
platform, right? With the LMS, the learning system, the learning videos, and then of course the Zoom,
yeah,
and I'm looking forward to just improving, and we'll keep improving with everything, you know.
Yeah.
What would you like to see with TACFIT and our community? Where would you like to see it going, improving?
Yeah. Obviously is watching the community increase. I remember we talked about that, like want to help 1 billion people, right? Like, learn TACFIT. So
Yeah.
obviously seeing it increase, but it'd be amazing, eventually to have like, there already are like TACFIT hubs, I suppose, like throughout the world. But even
Mhm.
like in the States, I'm like, oh, you live here, this is where you got to go. Like it's different hubs where you have someone to meet and work with. And we kind of already have that, but it's like official hubs would be really cool. And again,
TACFIT,
just to see,
TACFIT gyms.
yeah, exactly. Like this is the TACFIT gym of St. Louis or whatever it is, like that's the place you got to go. Like those are the people you want to see. So that would be amazing. And I think, yeah, really rewarding just for the community.
Mhm.
And then again, just keep branching out, and have it. Because I think one of the things I thought was cool about TACFIT too at the time was it felt like this well kept secret. Like you're like, oh, what is this? Because not enough people know about it. They're like, first they don't even know what clubs are, and they're like, what's TACFIT? What's RMAX? Who's Scott? Like, and then so it felt like this awesome kept secret. But I thought that was cool back then. But now it's like, no, I want everyone to
Yeah.
feel it, learn it, because I think everyone can make this huge benefit for anybody. So that would be amazing just to keep, get it really out there for people to see and to experience,
Yeah.
because if anyone could experience just a little bit of what I have, I know it's going to be really special for them.
Yeah. Man, thanks for sharing, all your story, the British story, and just all the experience and everything. I'm sure it's helpful for a lot of people to hear these things,
Yeah.
Before we finish, what's your favorite moment in your TACFIT journey? What's one of your favorite moments in your TACFIT journey?
Let's think about that one. Let's see. Favorite moment. Let's see. There's a lot, man. One of them was getting that first certification, 100%, like, because I spent studying it for about 4 years, I guess, at the time. And then meeting Scott for the first time and really experiencing the community and then earning that certification. I mean, that was so huge. Like I talked about, I never had really an accomplishment like that. So that was really big.
Being great.
Yeah, it was just so rewarding for me, and it just put me on a different kind of trajectory than I was before. Before I loved it, but I mean at that point it took me to a different level. That was so special. And then and it's not really, I guess, I don't know if I consider it a moment, but just the feeling of like constantly getting like healthier, I suppose, and more connected. Like I guess that's an ongoing thing. I can't say it's not necessarily a moment, but it's something that you feel when you do it. And at first, maybe I'll call it the first aha moment. It's like start really feeling that there was a change happening that was truly special, 100%.
Yeah, awesome, man. Awesome. Thank you so much. How can people find you, Sebastian?
Yeah, no, they can find me on social media. I'm on Facebook, just me, and then on Instagram, Sebastian.RimalLife. You can find me on there. Always available to talk to anybody, whether it's just chatting or going over TACFIT things or anything, really. I'm happy to help. And I'm here in St. Louis, so if anyone wants to come say hi, I'm down and trained anytime if anyone's swinging by.
St. Louis, Missouri. We're always representing. Got the TACFIT
Yeah,
warm up.
exactly. Yeah, always representing out here. I got like a wife told me I need to start getting different kind of clothes.
Right on, brother. Thank you, man. Thank you for inspiring all of us. Thank you for representing. I'm really proud of just, I don't know, your dedication. It's truly inspiring, and I think it's such a testament. You're such a testament of the system and what it can do. I know it was done for me, but it's just beautiful to hear what it's done for you. And I know we can help a lot of people out there, right? And live their best lives,
Yeah. Yeah, 100%, and I'm, like I said, happy to do it. Like, when you experience those things, you gotta let other people know.
Yeah, that's it. Right on, brother. Well, take care, and I hope to see you soon.
Absolutely, me too. And thanks so much for having me, man. It really was an honor.
Thank you, man. Thank you.